Well, I don't think this is the outcome that anyone saw coming or that I even wanted.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Hi and welcome back to Joe Talks Cars, and welcome to another video. Welcome to a video on an update on my Porsche Cayman 987S. If you'll have followed this video series over the past few weeks, you'll have seen that I've been having a few issues with my car regarding oil consumption, and it's been quite worrying really. It's since been into the garage and I've now got an update on what has happened and where I'm going to go from here. Right, so I thought I'd sit down and talk to you about what I'm going to do now, because I've had the results back from the garage and what's happened to the car. And like I said at the start of this video, I don't think it's the thing that anyone expected, and the outcome is going to be slightly different to what I first planned. But as you'll have seen in previous videos, the car has been burning quite a considerable amount of oil. It's been really concerning me over the past few sort of months. And to be honest, since I bought the car, it's been a little bit thirsty on oil, so it has been worrying throughout ownership. To recap, if you haven't seen my previous videos, when I first bought the car, I took it into my local garage. They did a bore scope on the car and did a full used car check over. All the bores were clear of scoring. There was a little bit of oil pooling on the cylinders, but that's to be expected of a flat six engine. Fast forward around 10 months. And the car then starts to use, I think, a little bit more oil. I don't know whether it's using more oil or it's just me being oversensitive, but I feel like I kept putting oil in it and it kept burning it. So I was getting a little bit more concerned at this point. So I've done some videos, which there'll be links in the description for, and I'll put a card on the top of the screen now so you can go back and watch those. And I said in those videos I would update you once I had some more information on the car. So I drove the car around for about 500 miles in total, and I've been monitoring the oil situation, making a record of every time I've put oil in, and the problem probably isn't as bad as what I first thought. So originally I thought I was burning like 1.5 litres every sort of 600 miles. It isn't as much as that, but it is over the recommended levels, or thereabouts. So I'm not overly happy with that. Even if Porsche say that's within tolerance, I don't like the idea of a car that's going to burn a litre of oil every sort of 1,000 kilometres. It's not really very good. So anyway, I took it to my local independent Porsche specialist. So he's had a look at the car. They did a really thorough bore scope yet again on the car and took some photographs. So the garage in question is quite familiar with Porsches. They're a German car specialist and they really do know their stuff. They appeared to find what they thought was bore scoring. And after looking at the pictures myself, I genuinely thought that is what we were looking at as well. So I thought the engine is a total write-off, absolutely devastated. So I picked the car up and I took those pictures and I emailed them to Hartec. So anyone that is not familiar with Hartec, if you've got a Porsche and its engine's broken, they're the guys to sort it out. They sort out engines from all over the place. People send their engines from Australia to Hartec, so they are the experts in Porsches, and specifically the flat six Porsches that often need rebuilding. So I had a chat with Grant from Hartec on the phone the other day, told him the issues I was having, sent him the photos, and to my surprise, he didn't believe, although the photos weren't amazing, he didn't believe that it was bore scoring. So he said he couldn't see any in the pictures. Yes, there are marks, but he couldn't see what he would consider to be bore scoring. What you can see in the pictures is oil pooling on the cylinders, which I was a little bit concerned about. And again, Grant says oil pooling in the cylinders is a characteristic of a flat engine, so that isn't anything to worry about. But down one side of the engine, the spark plugs were blacker than the other. So down the near side, they were darker than the off side. So that would suggest there is something going on. Now, the only way I can get to the bottom of this now is to take it to Hartec, have them dismantle the engine and find out if there is a problem. The issue with that is that if there is a problem, the bill can run to thousands. I got some rough prices off Grant on the day, and he suggested that 10,000 would probably rebuild it, but there could be additional costs while the engine's out. You'd be doing things like brake pipes and other bits, so that 10,000 is not really going to go that far, so it could easily become 12. The other option is obviously while you're in there and you think, I want to get more power out of this, I'm not spending 12 grand on an engine that's going to be the same essentially as it was before, I could bore it out to a 3.9, make more power, make the car more interesting. But that would cost a fortune. You're looking at 15.5 grand minimum, plus VAT. So way more than I paid for the car. So it just simply is not worth doing. The issue I have is that there's no guarantee there's actually anything wrong with the car at all. And to take it to Hartech and have them rip it apart to find the problem is small, repairable, and pop the engine back in, that would be a brilliant outcome. But if they pull the engine apart and find that it needs 10 grand's worth of work, I'm not sure that I want to do that to the car. I only paid 14 grand for this car, and I really don't want to start ploughing sort of 10 or 12,000 into it to essentially pay the amount of money I would have had to pay for a Gen 2. I could have just gone out and bought a Gen 2 and not had any of these issues to worry about. So, in short, the car is unfortunately going to have to go. If there isn't anything wrong with it, that's fine. But I'm not happy with the way it's using oil, and I think it ruins the experience for me. So I feel that the ownership experience has been taken away just by the anxiety of what could potentially go wrong with it. I knew the risks when I bought a 3.4 flat 6, the Gen 1 version. I knew the risks, and it was a risk I was willing to take, especially with the spec of this car. I spent a long time looking for one, and to find one in the seal grey with the 19-inch wheels, the ocean blue interior and these Sportsies was actually quite hard. And it's such a stunning spec, but it's just clouded with the worry that that engine's going to go bang. And like I said, if it had been categorically bore scoring, I could look at this in a different way and think, you know what, I could spend 12 grand and repair it. But I don't want to go to the point where I'm ripping an engine out that doesn't even have bore scoring, that's burning oil within tolerance, and I'm probably going to spend the best part of 4.5 grand doing that. And that would just drive me mad. So, unfortunately, this is not the news anyone wanted to hear, and I know this car is massively popular on my channel, but I'm going to be selling it. So, the routes to selling it, obviously, I'm not going to sell this car private. Although the car might be absolutely fine, I'm not comfortable selling this car to a private individual for them to find out it's got serious engine issues. It probably hasn't. It's probably okay, and the issues it does have, it might be fixed with a few thousand. You could run around with it for probably 10 years and it'll be fine. It's not a risk I'm prepared to take, so I'm not going to pass that risk on directly to somebody else. Another option I do have in terms of selling the car is just going on We Buy Any Car and letting Philip Schofield buy the car for me. They're offering me a half decent price. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. And I will come out of it a grand down compared with what I paid. So apart from the tyres that I've just recently put on it, which is driving me crazy actually, I've just spent £1,000 on tyres and they've done barely any miles, and now I'm getting rid of the car. I haven't lost all that much from when I bought it, so I would say that's actually a really good outcome. A lot of you will just be saying, why don't you just keep it? Just keep the car, there's clearly nothing wrong with it. But it's not that, it's more that I'm worried that something is going to go wrong with it, and the anxiety is not worth it. I'm not enjoying the car as much as I was just because I'm worried about it. Every time I start it up and a cloud of blue smoke comes out, I think, is it about to go bang? Every time I'm driving along and I hear a knocking noise, could be just going over a pothole, but I'm worried that it's bore scoring setting in. So it does have to go, unfortunately. Now, that begs the question, what am I going to swap this for? Well, I've got a few ideas and I've got some really interesting cars lined up. So this channel is not going to finish here. I will be buying something, and I'll be buying something fairly quickly, hopefully. Haven't quite decided what I want, but if you're watching this and you've got a suggestion on what car you think I should buy, then just drop it in the comments. I'm after something large engine, interesting, and something that I can do YouTube videos on. I don't want anything like a BMW or a Mercedes or anything like that. And ideally I would stick to Porsche. There's no requirement for me to have a sports car, an SUV. I'll literally have anything as long as it's interesting, which is why I went for this car, because they have a bit of rarity about them and I really like that about it. So that is where I'm at basically, and it's just not the situation I wanted to be in, and it's not the situation that I expected to be in a year after buying it, because I absolutely adore the car, but I can't live with it like it is. I can't live with the anxiety. So it is with regret that I will be selling it, and selling it in the next few weeks. So yeah, it's sad times. It's really sad times. I think in hindsight I would have just bought the 2.7. I know there's a lot of you that watch this channel and you have bought the 2.7, and I feel that that probably is the better car to have. The 3.4 is just plagued with issues in terms of bore scoring and the engine. It is inherently flawed from the factory, and the numbers that Porsche throw around saying 5% of cars have bore scoring, that was when they initially did the report on it. They found it was about 5%. But as cars are getting older and the miles are starting to pile onto them, I do believe that more are going to come out and more are going to get worse. So I need to just avoid the Gen 1 3.4S, regrettably. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video as much as you could have, and it's just given you a little bit of an update on where I'm at with my Porsche. I know it's not the news that anyone expected, but this channel will keep on going and I will get an interesting car to replace this, and something worthy to replace this. Could well be a Porsche, who knows. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.